Well, this last year we've had to do it remotely for the most part. We have been able to schedule some students to come in last school year, but that was kind of difficult for some of those that lived far away. So the way it affected my teaching was we needed to come up with packets to send home, and we needed to make sure we weren't giving too much, overwhelming people with everything that was going on. So really it affected it in the way that we had to get creative.
It affected in just about every aspect of teaching. And besides not having the students in class, we had to, especially with Navajo language and government and culture classes, we had to develop lesson plans from scratch. So everything that went out when the packets were delivered, those of us who teach in this area, we had to develop everything, and it was a lot of work, and it was interesting in that the classes that we taught were some of it was remote, especially at the end of the school year when the students, more of the students got in the internet. And before that, it was very difficult at the very beginning of COVID. And it was assumed that most of the kids had access to the internet, but actually they didn't. So some of the assignments were not coming in, so we had to go out, talk to the kids, or make phone calls home, things like that.
As you know, this is an area where cell phone service is a little tricky. And so some people we had an easier time getting a hold of than others. It just depends. Some folks live out where cell phone service really is a very hard thing. So when that happened, we would have people we'd send out, or we would send letters, to communicate with them if we couldn't get a hold of them by phone. And a lot of the time we were able to find that was effective. Most people we found that the parents would try to communicate with us even if they had to. Sometimes they'd even come in here, if we could get a hold of them by phone. But again, we had to get creative. We had to try a lot of different things.
Nothing much. just clean and helped around, did yard work.
Usually just doing some little hobbies, take care of my livestock. Usually just playing around and other hobbies.
Yes, I think it was hard for me because, where I live, internet's hard trying to get by and everything. Sometimes the internet wouldn't work at my house or anything. It would go off and on. Or sometimes that some websites, wouldn't load or anything like that just because it was for college classes. So a lot of it was restricted for me. So it was hard for me to do my college work, my high school work, and everything. But it was pretty simple because, I could have just went out to, right to the bus stop, and give them my school homework. It was fairly simple, but then it was so difficult too when it started going online instead of it doing the packets. Because online, we had internet problems. Some of us, always stay home all the time because we didn't have to go to school. But then, so it was hard for us to access internet during COVID.
It was difficult because I didn't understand most of them, and I couldn't keep up with the work. I was struggling. I didn't want to do them, but I had to. So, and then most of the time I would turn in close to the deadline.
First one was packets, actually. They sent it home with us, turn them in by just going to school and dropping it off, or on the bus. And second way was that later on we did online work on the computer. They sent us laptops, and yeah, both the ways weren't that hard.